What's going on, y'all? So today I'm gonna be showing you how to lock this 2000 CRV diff. This is the stock CRV diff. I'm gonna be using the S1 locking clutch they just released. You could use the locking plates as well, but I think this is gonna make it a lot easier. So all you're really gonna need is just a flathead, some pliers, and then an 8mm socket. Now these probably break real easy, so I would suggest you go real slow with it. So here's the diff. All you're gonna need to do is take off all 8 of these 8mm bolts. We'll start off by doing that. Now if you notice, I'm using a drill driver, not an impact. I don't want to break these. So the shoulders are going up and the elbows are bottom. And you push off, it'll mess. So get rid of that. Now you might be able to just smack this off, but see right here, there's a little groove. You could pry it with the pry bar and it should just pop out like that. Now this is gonna make a mess, hopefully not too bad. So I got a drip in, but pop this back cover off. You kind of don't want to, take it off too crazy because you don't want these. So if you look in here, you're gonna want to keep this because we're gonna eventually set this on top of here, and that's how it'll hold it in place. Now all of these are your clutch locking plates. You're not gonna need any of this. So what we'll do is we'll set this aside. Now if you turn this over, get this out of the way. Now if you turn this over, all this will come out. So nothing in here you're gonna need, nothing at all. So if you look in here, we got one stuck down in here. So it doesn't matter how this comes out as long as it comes out. You're not gonna need any of this. Now down here at the bottom, you should have nothing, just this little basket. So what we'll do is we'll take some of these bags. We're gonna take some brake clean and just clean out the inside of this. Doesn't have to be perfect, but try to get it as clean as you can. Then we'll just set this aside for now. Now onto the diff. So let me get some more. Same thing here. We're gonna have 3 8mm bolts, 2 on this side and 1 on this side. Just be real careful. These should be a lot easier to take off. So it's kind of hard to confuse these with those over there. These are going to be a lot cleaner. But I would set them in a different location just in case. Now this is your pump assembly. See this collar? This is what turns your pump. See? Now we're not going to use this collar anymore. This is trash. The reason we're not using this is because we're not going to be pumping the pump. So when we pull this off, we're going to be left with the pump and then this pin. Or this shaft, I should say. So there's a pin in here. See it? This pin rides in that groove in here, and that's what turns the pump as well. That's what circulates the oil in here. So you're just gonna pull this pin out. We're not gonna be using this as well, so you can set it with that. This is both trash. So now if you look up in here, give it a little Give it a little clean so we can look up in here. Now, there is a filter in here, or a screen. This is your screen. Now this screen is only used inside the pump to filter the metal debris. We're not using the pump no more. Once again, this is trash. You don't need that. Now, there is a magnet right here. We want to take that out. Sometimes it's kind of tricky, just depends. Now you see all that metal debris in here? We want to clean this off. So, get a little rag. Doesn't have to be perfect, but anything a little bit brake clean. Clean it off. And this we will be reinstalling, so just get this as clean as we can. Maybe a little bit cleaner. Now we're gonna set this over here for the time being because we gotta grind this. So a lot of failures that happen in these diffs are in this shaft. You see this little groove in here? So a lot of people break this in half. So what S1 recommends is that you clean this up and just throw a small little weld around this. Now it doesn't have to be Alright, so I did end up TIG welding this, as you can see. Doesn't look the best, but it'll hold. So now we're gonna go ahead and reinsert this magnet. Just give it a quick little clean before we put it back in there. Now the pump, we're just using it as a spacer since it's really not going to be doing anything else. It should just slide right back over. Put your 3 bolts back on. Now these don't have to be super tight. You don't have to break them. So now that we got that back in there, now we could go back to this. So this is all nice and clean. We'll set this one aside now. Set this one off to the side now. So here's, let me give it one more little rinse. Actually probably 2 more. Make sure you get all this RTV off. Let's do that first actually before we start fucking with this. Now you could do this however you want. I'm just gonna do it with a plastic razor. I'm just gonna go around here. If it's never been sealed before, this Honda bond should be real easy to take off. If it's been sealed once before, then it's probably gonna be a lot trickier, but just a small piece of it. Just kind of cleaned up the surface. Now you want to get this as clean as possible because you do not want it to leak. It'll be a pain once it's back in the car to get it fixed. Now I'm not using a whole lot of pressure. Damn, I didn't even see that one. I'm glad I fucking caught it. Would have been bad if I didn't see that one. Now, I guess a telltale sign that all the clutches are out would be if you see this shiny part in the basket, then you know all the clutches are out. So now this is going to be towards the bottom of the basket, and this is going to be facing the top. So we'll be able to just to sit it right in here like that. Now I wouldn't push it with my fingers because I don't want to get it pinched. So quick little tap. It should fall in just like that. It shouldn't be too snug up in there. Now we do want to clean this up real good. So what they recommend, see how there's that little lip? This will sit in here just like that. So what they recommend is to give it a couple tacks in 3 different places, and it's not for anything crazy, it's just to hold it in place so when you put the basket back on it doesn't fall off. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean off just 3 different places on here. Alright, so we're back. So I ended up cleaning this surface as well, the same way I did to this surface. Now I would not recommend you clean it with the wire wheel like this, only for the fact that it might scratch it up a little too much. Now if you look up in here, I did end up tacking it in 3 different locations. They don't have to be amazing tacks, just enough for it to hold it on there. Now the reason you do that is so everything's in here pretty snug. You don't have to worry about it falling apart. Now everything on here is done. Only thing left to do is just to put RTV back on here and then just put them together. Now you could use regular RTV like this, but I think using Honda Bond is your best bet. You can buy this anywhere. You do want to make sure this is all dry. There's no oil on here, no brake cleaner or nothing, so it could adhere properly. But anyways. Now we're all said and done here. When you spin this, everything spins together. That's essentially what you're looking for. Everything to be locked together. Some of these bolts are really rusted, like this one. So I'm gonna just hit it with my. So now that we got this all RTV'd up, so we should be able to put it right in here. If you line it up correctly, which it should be lined up like this with the 2 bolts on top. There you go. Bolts at the bottom. And All right, that is how you lock your 2000 Honda CR-V. Pretty straightforward. That should be all this is trash. Once again, you should have a pin, a locking collar, and all your clutches that are going to go to the trash.